Welcome to our Energy Connect studio at ADIPEC 2022. I'm delighted to have sitting next to me Paul Hosein Stimulation Director. Thank you so much for joining me.
No, thank you very much, Julian. I'm very happy to be here to talk about SLB's new sandstone stimulation technology, OneSTEP EF.
Let's get straight into it. What is the role then of this acid stimulation in sandstone reservoir, and why is it so important?
Well, when people hear about sandstone stimulation or acid stimulation in general, they typically link it to carbonate reservoirs.
Yeah.
Okay? However, and in fact, most of the stimulation treatments done today with acid are done in carbonate reservoirs. However, many people don't know it, but more than 50% of producing wells today are actually producing from sandstone reservoirs. And acid stimulation can be used to remove damage-induced production loss. In fact, damage can be from drilling-induced damage or from the migration of fines to the near wellbore area that affects well productivity. So it's a huge opportunity for the industry if we can actually successfully acid stimulate these sandstone reservoirs.
And actually, I think a lot of operators still haven't adopted acid stimulation standard reservoirs, as you sort of mentioned. Why do you think that is, and what are the key challenges with sandstone acid stimulation in the industry that's maybe stopping?
No, that's a very good question, Julian. Well, first of all, the answer is quite simple. Operators actually don't do sandstone stimulation using acid because the failure rate has been very, very high. In fact, success rates for acid stimulation in sandstone is less than 50%. Addition to that, the operations are typically quite complex. It requires multiple stages. You can have a sandstone stimulation job being 8, 10, 12 stages. So it's quite complex, potentially causing more operational risk. So combined with low productivity, high operational risk, it's no wonder that customers today don't want to execute sandstone stimulation operations.
And that's very interesting. The industry already has technology to address sandstone acid stimulation. But what is unique about SLB's new OneSTEP EF solution that you mentioned at the beginning?
Okay, so let me just go back a little bit and explain what's the difficulty in sandstone stimulation. When you have a damaged sandstone reservoir, to effectively stimulate it using acid, you need to understand that damage mechanism and then correctly select the right stimulation fluid, the right type of acid to remove that damage mechanism. When you don't get that combination of stimulation fluid and the damage correct, you can actually pump an acid treatment and actually cause more damage. You generate what's called secondary and tertiary chemical reactions that plug the pores of the reservoir. So you could imagine going out to do a stimulation job to improve production, and you actually reduce the production. And this is using the traditional technologies. What SLB's OneSTEP EF can actually do, it addresses the shortcomings of this traditional approach to sandstone acidizing. It's a very robust solution, addressed or designed to address the damage mechanisms you get in a sandstone reservoir, but eliminating the risk of induced or further damage. So it's really a very efficient solution with very low risk. On top of that, it's a true one-stage, one-step solution, as the name implies. It's a one-step solution. So operationally, it's very, very simple to execute.
Okay, good.
So combining with addressing the damage mechanism, operationally simple, and by its very nature, acidizing is an operationally light execution. It's a very efficient solution to addressing the large number of damaged producing sandstone wells.
Okay, thanks for that. And given the current focus on reducing environmental footprint in the industry, how does this technology deliver on sustainability?
No, very happy to talk about it, because we can't develop technology today without taking sustainability in mind.
Yeah.
OneSTEP EF does address this need. Well, first of all, as I just said, it's a single stage solution. So it uses less water, and the pump time, which is a stimulation term, the execution time, is shorter than traditional treatments. What does that mean? Every treatment you do with a OneSTEP EF solution has less emissions impact than anything you would do with an alternative acidizing or traditional technology application of acidizing in sandstones. Additionally, before having such a robust solution, what customers would do when they have a damaged sandstone well, they would do hydraulic fracturing to bypass near wellbore damage. And for those who know stimulation, hydraulic fracturing is a big endeavor. Lots of equipment, lots of engines, lots of water, lots of material, somewhat of a bad name sometimes. When compared to an acidizing treatment and a OneSTEP EF treatment, which can replace this hydraulic fracturing type application in certain cases, our emissions footprint is significantly reduced.
Very interesting to hear. And just before we go, how do you see the future of acid stimulation as a technique to increase well productivity?
I'm very excited about the future. OneSTEP EF can address the damage mechanisms in complex sandstone reservoirs. It can be applied in oil and gas wells, producers and injectors, and can be executed using what's called the bullhead technique, where you inject fluid from the surface, or using coiled tubing. So it's very, very versatile, and as I mentioned before, can be applied across a wide temperature range. In fact, it very much aligns with SLB's and the stimulation business line strategy for maximizing well productivity with the lowest possible emissions impact.
Well, Paul, I really appreciate you coming down and talking about this latest solution, and thanks a lot.
No, thank you very much. I'm very excited about the future.